Alright, what's up y'all, LakerFan here. As you can see by the title of today's video, here to teach you how to actually contest shots in NBA 2K26 without jumping. Now, there will be some clips that I actually show you with jumps, and I just want this to be the guide to how to contest shots in general in 2K26, but the main key is without jumping. The jumps are pretty self-explanatory. You jump, they shoot, good timing, it'll get you a contest. The without jumping is a little bit more crucial in terms of some tips and knowledge that we have for you in today's vid, and it's what I really want to talk about. So I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you do, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on noties, all that good stuff, and like always, try to just 1,000 likes. Okay, so like always with these tips videos, I have a little bit of my notes section right here that is just my brain conveyed onto a screen. So if you want to just go ahead and read it, feel free to. But we do have this that we're going to be breaking down in a little bit more of an easy to read sense, where like the red ones are mechanical things that I think you should be trying and do yourself, whereas the green ones are more just knowledge gap, things that I want to suggest to you in terms of like what you need to know in terms of how you defend people, not to mention how you and your teammates function together as a unit, if you will, in order to register the most contests you possibly can. So anyway, let's get straight into this, and like I said, if you do enjoy, feel free to drop a like. So keys to contesting most optimally. A lot of the stuff that I want to go over first is gonna be the mechanical ones. So contest the shooting hand, not the face, not the center of their chest or anything like that. I know a lot of people are going to tell you, because they want to go off realism, to get your hand in the defender's face and make it harder for them to see, blah blah blah. The thing is, it's a video game. All right, so my boy Kitchen, and I gotta say, Kitchen's put me and us collectively as a YouTube whole, and just you guys as viewers as well, onto a lot of great information in this game. And another nugget of great information that he's dropped on me in this game is to be contesting the shooting hand of the player you're going against. When we played 7-4's pre-patch, and mind you, we're post-patch now where like getting contests are even easier, but when we played pre-patch, he would really like stress the fact of like, if the shooter was right-handed, you wanted to be contesting on the right side, essentially putting your hand right where their shooting hand is going to end up at, rather than trying to be squared up directly with the body and putting your hand just straight up into like, you know, their face essentially. So keep that in mind. The shooting hand is very important in terms of registering the most contests. And then next up, we have don't be so out of position that you are running towards someone while holding hands up. I've been there before, and it'll give weaker contests, and you won't put your hands as directly up, if you get what I'm saying. When you're standing stationary right in front of somebody and you're just holding up on your right stick, you are going to get a more vertical contest and being straight up, rather than when you're running at somebody, you're going to run with your hands kind of like nobody runs with their hands straight up, if you get what I'm saying. And you already know when you're playing this game that it's not like that. You know, you are still going to be in the sprint animation, and then your hands up will come out when the ball actually gets shot. But yeah, try not to be so out of position, and like when you're trying to defend, especially 7-4s for instance, try and be exactly squared up on them and ready to just play a walled up right stick up. And that swings us into our next topic of being directly on someone. Don't touch your left trigger if you're trying to contest the best you can. Doing so will make you play in a defensive stance and not only put the hands up, but also still play in a lower stance. And what I mean is only one hand up. So what I am actually going to do, I'm in the blacktop right now, and I wanted to show you guys just in a kind of sandbox form of me having two controllers plugged into my Xbox right now, and be able to show you just what this defender is going to do when I do these certain types of inputs. Okay, so this is live action. As you can see, I'm, you know, flicking it back and forth and whatnot. And what I have is LeBron and Luka out here. And what you're going to see is if I hold LT and hold my right stick up, I have one hand up in a defensive stance, as you can see. Now, if I let go of LT, I now have two hands up directly in front of him. This is exactly what I'm telling you guys. If you're playing a 7-4, this is the exact type of defense you want to play if you don't want to have to jump at them. Is in their face, right stick up only. Keep in mind what shooting hand they have as well. Now listen, I'm not Toots or anything like that, so I don't got, or like 2K Labs, I don't got tests or anything that are showing you things like this, but I guess I'll just go ahead and like put a shot up. I mean, again, I'm not here to show you guys like 500 contests or anything like that looped back and forth of, you know, giving you the best way to actually see the registers of contests that you're going to have. But yeah, I mean, as you're going to see with Luka, for instance, too, this is with just the right stick up, and then this is with LT held and right stick up at the same time. And again, defensive stance, you can see that by the flashing white light that's in the player indicator right there. Whereas if you don't have it, boom, hands up, two hands up, and you're going to get a better contest. Now again, like I said, I'm not here to be Toots. I'm not here to be 2K Labs, show you guys what range you're contesting things from, you know, blah, 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 show you the shooting hand thing that I'm talking about. You'll see that in the clips that we have. I'm more of a kind of gameplay guy, you know, personally. I'm not really here for the tests. But anyway, yeah, just wanted to give you this little tip information. It's pretty straightforward. Now, what I think I might do is low-key send that type of a thing to Labs and Toots and see, you know, if either of them want to go ahead and try that. And like, let's say, for instance, run a test of holding the defensive stance while playing hands up D versus just the hands up D, and see which of them registers what amount of contest per like 100 shots or something like that, you know, with a very specific amount of like perim D, challenger, stuff like that. I'll submit that to them and see what they think. But anyway, I want to move along in the video because we are still here to give you a little bit more of a hands-on. That's what my channel is if I were to be selling myself to you guys, is I think I'm a lot more of like the hands-on gameplay guy that is trying to give you like actual tips that kind of convey to how to change your gameplay, rather than like the statistical factual stuff of like, you know, X amount of reps simulated in the game and like, you know, kind of all put into a machine essentially. I'm here to tell you just some tips to improve your gameplay and also some things to improve your knowledge a tad bit as well. So we'll get to a bunch of clips real quick of the shot contests, whether it's the non-hands up or the hands up, whether it's the jumps, whatever the case may be. But I do still want to go over some of the IQ diff if you want to just stick with me here for a second. I know it's a lot of words, a lot of text, so I'll just kind of summarize things a tad bit. So the difference between anticipation jumps and reaction jumps. What I think a reaction jump is you're sitting on your Y button or your triangle if you're on PlayStation and preparing for them to shoot the ball. Let's say pre-patch 7.4s, they would just pretty much, you know, jab, 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 pump fake, shoot, finally, right? Reaction jumps are more for people like that are just waiting out your jumps, and if you are someone that has to jump to contest the person you're guarding, then that is, in my opinion, the way to actually guard them is reaction jumps, because they will just wait you out. Good 7.4s, good shooters and stuff like that will wait for your jumps if you continuously jump at them over and over and over again. Now, for an anticipation jump, I think this is more like, for instance, if you are out of the play, you know for a fact that dude is shooting the ball, and the only way you're going to get to it is to contest the shot with a anticipation jump. That is, in my opinion, something that you need to depend on quite a bit in this game, because if you are out of position or if someone beats you off the dribble, with the fact that there's a lot of ways to get open in this game, off ball, off screens, you know, just ISO in general with the dribbling and stuff, you need to jump sometimes to contest. So again, anticipation jumps, reaction jumps. Know which one you need to do in a lot of situations, because I'm gonna be real with you. If you're just gonna sit in front of a 7.4 and as soon as he catches the ball, jump every single time, you're gonna jump your way out of the contest more often than not. Now, the reaction jump of what I'm talking about is more focusing on the actual shooting animation of like the player and jumping once you see they're shooting the ball, rather than jumping before they start to shoot the ball because you just feel it in your bones, quote unquote. So in my opinion, you need to know the difference between that and when to use each of them. That's just my, you know, general take on it. And then what I also want to say in terms of registering more contests on people in general as a team is consider that switchability means a lot in terms of having someone near to contest a player. Sure, the person switching might not be able to keep up as well as the prior matchup, but the fighting through screens and wraps and stuff like that leaves you chasing the player with the ball, and also the defender on the back end chasing the other player that's been the screener or the wrapper, if you will. So like all this off-ball movement and like, you know, screens, and like whether the guy on the back side of the screen needs to step to the guard, or if he needs to play the paint help, or if he needs to then return back to his man that popped in the opposite direction, all of that can just be cut out, and you don't have to deal with any of that BS if you're just willing to switch on screens and understand that the concept of, yes, the person that's switching onto the new ball, like onto the ball handler as the new defender, is not going to be as good as the person prior, generally. I mean, the offense is doing a bad job at who they're having screen if you are like switching someone onto the ball handler as the second guy. That is a better matchup for the guard than the prior one. But realistically, doing so of switching everything on screens leaves you to always be able to contest something. It's not going to be able to keep up quite as well, and granted, obviously you don't want to switch like 7.4s onto a 6'4" point guard or something like that. They cannot keep up. It's not going to be easy enough. But in a world where you have like, let's say a 6'8" or a 6'6", or even in some cases like, you know, 6'5", stuff like that, switching them onto the big might be a little bit easier on your back end defender, who is probably more along the lines of like, let's say 6'8", 6'9", 6'10", even 6'11", where they don't have to put up with all the BS of you being an ego lock trying to fight through every screen. You know, if you get clipped on one, now they're expected to step to that guard, but now it's like, oh, well, you stepped to the guard, but now the on-ball lock was still being a fiend and he didn't switch on to the big man. So now you on the backside screen had to step to the guard and then get chewed out by your on-ball defender for even doing so when he clearly was going to get killed for the three. And then because you did that, now your man is open on the three-point line off the pick and pop, and now your dude didn't switch with you. And all this indecision and all this BS makes it so you just leave people wide open way more often than not, whether that's wide open off a screen or wide open for the pick and pop. Switching everything leaves you in a very easy, contestable situation in every possible way, and It's pretty helpful, if you ask me. Now, the last thing that I have, ghost contests. I mean, this is back, and it already was in the game pre-patch. People were like, you know, gassing it up a little bit more post-patch, if you ask me. I don't have the clips currently, but I did have clips prior, and maybe I'll even load up my old contests off pre-patch stuff, because what I'm going to show you right now is post-patch, but I'll show you even pre-patch some of the stuff that I was doing to maybe even register more contests, or just how to do them well with a couple clips that I had prior. But yeah, ghost contests are back, and in order to do so, you just don't even put your right stick up at all. You just stand in the face of the person shooting, and I mean, I don't know, respect it. Like, sometimes when you're a good rebounder on your team or something like that, you might need to do something like this. Like, let's say you have, coming back to the whole switchability thing, and I won't stay on this topic too long, but consider that, like, when your teammate is that 6'5" lockdown, like I was talking, he doesn't exactly have the best rebounding capabilities. He can maybe guard the big man, but he can't really rebound with him. So, you as the big man might need to play the ghost contest sometime. What you might need to do is stand in the face of the guard, hope that you register more of like a 8 to 10% contest, something like that, and then because you didn't put your hand up and because you didn't jump, you now can not only play a minor contest on the guard, but also get back down to the rebound to save your 6'5" that's just begging for a help on the board while he's just trying to box the guy out, and that's the best he can do or something like that. So, in a very, you know, specific situation, I think that's helpful for sure. All right, so into the clips. I want to break some of these down. We're going to go ahead and just hit a little pause and like actually do some talking on it. Now, understand, not every single one of these am I practicing what I preach, because sometimes I don't know the handness of the shooter. Sometimes I am just not paying quite as much attention because it's not a game to be taken quite as seriously. When we're locked in, when it's 7-4s and stuff like that, pre-patch, we were absolutely paying attention to the handness and stuff like that. And if you're really locked in as a defender, you want to be one of the elites and stuff like that, I think you really want to pay attention to that handness like we were talking about. But in this case, as you can see, I am contesting his left hand as he's shooting the ball right there. And what you can see is that comes out as a 92% contest. And that is on my 6'10" against, I believe, someone very similar in height to me. I'm not exactly sure how tall he is. It's probably around 6'8" or something like that. And then boom, as you can see, off that pick and pop, staying up on him right there, getting that 92. So again, we're here to break down pretty much all of these. I will have a second set of clips. These are the ones that played in the intro, but I will have a second set of ones that plays with like jump contests potentially also in the like, you know, clips that you're gonna see. Now, to be fair, I don't know 100% for sure whether Kitchen did start holding his left trigger right here or not. I think a lot of times when the shot actually goes up, you may see like one hand shoot out as the actual shot like goes up, but in this case, it's possibly started playing LT because he didn't even think the guy was going to shoot the ball, to be fair. I mean, as you can see, he gets one hand up eventually, but it's right on that shooting hand. Look at where the placement is. You mastering that craft and figuring out exactly how to put your hand where their hand is on the shooting hand is a huge deal. That's a 100% smothered by a 6'11" build with bronze challenger, like 75, 74 per MD, something like that. So keep that in mind, man. It's a big deal. The handness, the right stick up only, stuff like that. You're gonna see me start doing stuff like that too. But as you can see, like Kitchen playing with his right stick up only right there. You can see me doing it right here as well. Now, again, when the shot actually comes out, it might just shoot out one hand, as you just saw right there. And the guard hits a 50% contested post fade on me. Crazy. That's unbelievable. But as you can see, like, this is the type of animation you're going to be doing if you're only holding up on your right stick. Two hands up, absolutely just putting the best foot forward in terms of contesting. And I mean, look, I wanted to put that in the video too, because sometimes you just have to shake their hand, bro. Sometimes you contested them as well as you possibly could. And I think people saying that, like, if they were to talk about me getting a 50% contest right here and that being bad, or like that I'm not playing good enough defense, you're tripping. I just have to say, first and foremost, because that shot is going to drop at probably like a 5% rate at best. I mean, dudes are not hitting that consistently in the reds, bro. Not even if you're plugged, probably, to be real with you. I mean, like, it's probably going to be more like a 20% or something like that. But let's be real, like, dudes aren't hitting that. And then, as you can see, we have the ghost contest right here. So that is a 29% contest just off me doing a drive-by on the point guard. Look at this. So guard ends up beating Connor right there, but I don't want to just completely step to this guy and play my hand up when he could just hit me with a bailout or something like that to my guy. Now, to be fair, it's terrible spacing from this dude. Unbelievably bad spacing where he just wraps up out the corner and brings me right to him. But As you can see, my plan was I didn't want to commit myself to the contest right there because I didn't think the defender would walk himself, or the offensive player would walk himself right back into Connor right here and make that switchable. I thought he was going to stay more to the corner, so I wanted to just kind of play with no hands up and be able to like bait this and then return to my own guy. But as you can see, this is a 29% contest. I'm not going to lie. You really need to consider it. You really need to consider whether the ghost contests are something you and your build can do and perform. Now right here, as you can see, hands up D by the guard right here, and he registers a 50 on Kitchen. Kitchen's on a 6'11" right here, and this is like the guard of the team. I don't exactly know how tall he is, but as you see, I try and hit Kitchen in the corner. To be fair, he would not shoot a shot like this. It's just that the bad catch animation made him take like, you know, a bit longer on his shot. And as you can see, the hand-on-hand action right there of him getting his hand to Kitchen's left right there and absolutely like, you know, walls up really well and gets the 54% contest right there. That's really good defense, and that's exactly what you should be doing. Let's see if he, now he, I believe, okay, yeah, he was only hands up, as you can see, 2 hands up right there, and then ends up getting that one that's near the shooter hand to stay, and boom, there you go. And I'm a little bit suspecting that that's the case of when you do have both hands up, it uses the one that's auto, maybe it auto tracks the hand of the one that's closest to the shooter hand, potentially. I don't know this for a fact. I'm throwing out some theories here at this point, but yeah, wanted to at least give you that information and let you see the clips for yourself, see what you think. All right, so this is also like post-patch gameplay right here where it's like, you know, jumps included. So as you can see, Connor getting a block on the 7'4", trying to shoot over him as a 6'9" build, 99 block. Technically, I really could have added that to the video of talking about how 99 block builds do get you better jumps and stuff, but I'm not here to do that. I'm mainly in this video here to talk about how to contest shots without jumping, because everybody knows it's pretty self-explanatory on the jumps, if you ask me. Now, like I said, the anticipation versus, like, you know, the reaction jumps are a little bit important. Like, let's think about what we would call this one, to be fair, though, because Connor's kind of jumping for joy. I think this is low-key anticipation jump, and at this point, now he just thinks this is very likely to be shot right here, so this is definitely an anticipation jump. But this is the type of game I'm talking. Like, good 7'4s are going to wait for a good window to shoot the ball, and not just constantly, like, you know, pump fake then go up guaranteed. They're gonna wait and watch you play like leapfrog up and down, up and down, up and down, and then end up running out of adrenaline, and by that point then you can't even defend yourself at all. I mean, with a jump at least. So that is an anticipation jump, definitely not a reaction one, and I think he lucked out a tad bit right there as far as, like, you know, not getting punished, but it is what it is. Sometimes you got to play that mind game with the 7'4". Sometimes that's not really a guaranteed thing. Now look at this, man. This is crazy. Kitchen contesting a 7'4", post-patch gameplay, and just holding both his hands up, and as you can see, barely even really looks like he's registering a contest on his shooting hand. But as you can see, that left or that right hand of Kitchen, the one that's showing up on the left right here because he's, you know, facing away from our camera, is getting that contest on his left hand. It's not even up there elevation wise, but what's happening is he gets a 64% contest on a 7'4" with just his hands up, which is crazy, again, from a 6'11" build. Now, I will say 6'11s are very good at contesting 7'4s, but all things considered, a 64 on just hands up is wild, bro. So right there, once again, anticipation jump. That is not a reaction jump by any means. That is literally just me thinking, oh, he beat me on a wrap. I think he's going to shoot the ball. I'm going to jump here. Just my, you know, personal take on it. So anyway, I don't know why I'm showing this. I think it was part of the cut up that I had for showing, like, you know, the 7'4s being kind of cooked. But this one also anticipation jump. I mean, he gets it. I'm low off the catch, bad catch. He was probably hoping for a better catch than that, to be fair. And then boom, I just get the jump right into his shooting hand once again. And as you can see, knock him down, 71% contest on the 7'4" with my 6'10" with the gold challenger because I have it +1. But yeah, I hope all these clips are helpful to you guys. I hope it, like, you know, it gives a better breakdown as far as like how to actually register them. I guess I showed that one twice of the kitchen contest, and then also, yeah, the kitchen contest right there. So don't worry about it too much. All right, and the last thing that I want to add to the video right here, remind you, this is now pre-patch gameplay. This is me from, like, you know, the first couple of weeks of the game, me playing the bait defense. And as you're gonna see, I'm still gonna be registering, like, you know, 40s, 60s, 70s, all types of stuff like that. This is when I want to talk about bait defense and actually, like, making an impact off ball. Making it so they just are forced to actually pass to your guy, and then being able to, like, have the ground, like, being able to be made up of you being able to get back to your guy in time. So distracting the point guard, literally just begging him to throw my way, and then boom, getting blocks, getting crazy shot contests, stuff like that. Or in this case, you might even be able to do the same thing with just your hands up now in the game, to be real. I don't think that's a reliable thing though, because like I just told y'all, running towards somebody with your RT held while also trying to play your hands up isn't exactly going to give you the best contest animations. But as you can see, the bait defense on display here. Just wanted to drop a quick little note on this for you guys to really consider playing like this if you are an elite rangy defender off ball. And mind you, this build only had like, you know, 74 block or something like that. And as you can see, registering pre-patch, like 62% contest, and really being capable of doing stuff like this. Okay, and lastly, I'm going to come back to this real quick. I just want to show you what it looks like when I'm sprinting toward the player with my right stick up. And then as you can see, like my dude is putting his hands down entirely. Like with LeBron right here, I'm holding up on the right stick the whole time through here, and if you're sprinting, you're going to put your hands down. So you don't necessarily want to do that. Now, while holding LT, I will say, and in the art, like I'm holding left trigger, right trigger, and up on the right stick right there, and it's still going to give me a defensive stance while playing like a hand up right there. So like for instance, if you are running towards somebody, I do still think LT being held is maybe the way to do it. It's just that like, I don't know, you do have to create like the closing distance at the end of the day. So I think full sprint early, then throw your hands up. I think that's kind of the way I want to go about things. I would rather close the distance, close the gap, and then throw your hands up. Or at the end of the day, obviously, if you're out of the play, go for the jump if you're like, you know, completely out of it. But yeah, just know that when you're sprinting, boom, it's going to throw your hands down right away. As soon as you take a step forward, as you can see, boom, it's going to put those hands down, and you're just not going to be able to actually register the contest that you think you're going to while playing hands up because you're out of position and sprinting toward the player. All right, I keep telling y'all one last thing, but I want to show at least one more clip of Kitchen pre-patch right here against a really lethal 7-4. This dude had a crazy win percent, but as you can see, seeing a shot like that come out, Kitchen saw boom, right hand off that. So that was some intel for him, and now what you're going to see on the next possession, though he ends up, they don't like lose the possession, you can see Kitchen shading his right side, as you can see, and boom, gets the contest. Mind you, this was a 28% or 25% pre-patch. So it is a pretty big difference, whether it's pre-patch, post-patch, in my opinion, and just keep that in mind. So that's what allowed us to, in theory, be able to get a stop right here. It's just that I didn't grab the rebound. But yeah, this type of intel and this type of scouting out of him and him knowing this type of information was huge in terms of being able to get stops pre-patch, and even more so further into the post-patch, getting even crazier contests on things like this. So take all those tidbits of information that we've dropped in the video. I hope it helped you, and I hope it was like, you know, useful to your information that you can then take into your gameplay and tell your boys about. Hey, maybe tell them to watch the video though, to be fair, instead of just telling them the tips. But hey, it's okay. I'm here to just put on for the help and not so much about the views or anything like that. So anyway, that's all for video. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new to noties, all good stuff. Like always, try this one to 1,000 likes. And if you made it to the end of the video, put contest or put D in the comments. Sure, support your way through. So again, just a little overview for you if you really want to check them all out again, see like the logistics of things that I've dropped here. But that's all. I hope y'all enjoyed, and on that, take it easy, man. Peace.